I never thought my marriage would fall apart because of one person's lies. You know, when you stand in front of someone you love and promise to build a life together, you believe that nothing can tear it down. I believed in my husband. I trusted him more than anyone else in this world. But trust is fragile. And once it breaks, it doesn't sound like glass shattering, it sounds like silence. It sounds like the way he stopped looking at me, the way his words turned sharp, the way his arms stopped being my safe place. It all started with a woman I thought was a friend. Let's call her Rachel. She was one of those people who smiled too sweetly, the kind of smile that hides something sharp behind it. At first, I never noticed. She was always around, always helpful, always acting like she cared about me. She'd visit our home, she'd sit with me for coffee, she'd ask about my marriage. I thought she was being kind. But now, when I look back, I see the way her eyes lingered on my husband, the way she twisted her words like a knife wrapped in silk. My husband's name is Daniel. He wasn't perfect, but he was mine. We'd been married for 7 years. We had weathered struggles, money issues, family problems, but through it all, I believed we were strong. Daniel worked long hours. He was ambitious, always trying to build a better future for us. And I supported him every late night, every missed dinner. I thought we were building something real. But then Rachel started planting seeds. At first, they were small, almost harmless comments. "Are you sure Daniel is where he says he is?" she'd ask casually, sipping her coffee. I'd laugh it off. Of course he was. Why wouldn't he be? Then she'd tilt her head and say, "It's just, men get tempted, you know?" Her words didn't stick at first, but over time, they dug into my skin. One night, Daniel came home late, later than usual. His shirt smelled faintly of perfume, not mine. When I asked him, his face tightened, and he said it was from someone at work hugging him goodbye. I wanted to believe him. I really did. But Rachel's voice echoed in my head, whispering doubts, making shadows where there hadn't been any. Weeks turned into months. Rachel grew bolder. She told me she'd heard things, that people were talking about Daniel. She said he was getting too close to a coworker. She even claimed she'd seen him having lunch with someone who wasn't me. My heart cracked a little more each time. And instead of talking to Daniel with an open heart, I started accusing him. My voice turned cold. My words became weapons. And he began pulling away. One night, everything exploded. I had been holding in all of Rachel's poison for too long, and I confronted him in the kitchen. My voice shook as I asked if he was cheating on me. He stared at me with disbelief, his face pale, his eyes wide. He swore on everything that he loved me, that he was faithful. But my mind was clouded. I screamed. He shouted back. And then, in the heat of that storm, he packed a bag and left. Rachel was right there the next day. She held me as I cried, whispering that she had warned me. She looked at me with fake sympathy, and I clung to her words like they were the truth. She told me I deserved better, that Daniel didn't love me the way he should. She fed me lies, over and over, until I began to hate the man I had once loved more than anything. Weeks went by. I tried calling Daniel, but he wouldn't answer. His family turned cold toward me, blaming me for the fight. I was alone. Completely alone. Except for Rachel. She became my shadow, always around, always whispering, always twisting the knife. But then something changed. One evening, I went to visit Daniel's mother. I wanted to explain, to at least be heard. His mother, a woman with sharp eyes and a sharp tongue, listened quietly as I poured my heart out. And then she said something that stopped me cold. Rachel has been spending a lot of time with Daniel lately. Her words froze me. I felt my stomach drop. My first thought was betrayal. Had Daniel moved on with her? But his mother continued. He doesn't look happy. He looks trapped. Like he's carrying something heavy. That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind raced. Why would Rachel, the woman who had been by my side, be spending time with Daniel? Why hadn't she told me? The answer came weeks later, at a family dinner. Daniel had finally agreed to meet. His family invited me too, insisting we needed to talk things through. I sat at that table, my heart pounding, my palms sweaty. Rachel showed up too, uninvited, slipping into a seat like she belonged there. The air was tense, like a storm waiting to break. And then, the truth began to crack open. At that dinner table, surrounded by family, lies and secrets began to unravel. Rachel's mask slipped. Her carefully crafted story started falling apart. And the truth exploded in ways none of us expected. But that's where I'll stop for now. Because before I tell you how the truth finally came out, and how it shattered everything Rachel had built, you need to understand the depth of her betrayal, and the strength it took for me to rise again. The night of that dinner still feels like a scar etched in my memory. The house was buzzing with voices, the clatter of plates, the smell of roasted chicken and baked potatoes filling the air. It should have felt warm, like family. But instead, every sound scraped against my nerves. I sat stiff in my chair, my heart pounding so hard I could barely hear anything else. Daniel sat across from me. His face looked tired, older somehow, as if the weeks apart had drained every bit of life from him. He didn't meet my eyes. He just stared at his plate, cutting his food into tiny, careful pieces. I wanted to reach out, to ask him if he still loved me, if we still had a chance, but my throat closed up. And then Rachel walked in. I swear, the room went silent. She wasn't invited. No one had asked her to be there. Yet she carried herself with such confidence, sliding into a chair like she was the guest of honor. My chest tightened, my nails dug into my palms. I couldn't understand, why was she here? Why did she look so comfortable, like she belonged at my husband's family table more than I did? Daniel's mother frowned, her lips pressing into a thin line. Rachel, this is a family dinner, she said sharply. But Rachel only smiled, that same sugary sweet smile she always wore when she was about to cut someone open without them realizing it. I just thought I'd come, she said lightly. After all, I've been such a close friend through all of this. Don't you think I deserve to be here too? Her words made my stomach twist. Close friend. She wasn't just saying it for me, she was saying it for Daniel. She wanted everyone to see her sitting there, taking up space, inserting herself into the wreckage she'd caused. The tension was unbearable. Forks clinked against plates, but no one was really eating. Daniel's father cleared his throat, trying to lighten the mood. He asked Daniel about work, about life. Daniel answered in short sentences, his eyes still avoiding mine. My heart ached. I could feel the distance, a chasm between us that I didn't know how to cross. And then Rachel struck. With a small laugh, she leaned forward, her voice dripping with false innocence. You know, it's such a shame how lies can destroy a marriage. Isn't it? The words hit me like a slap. My head snapped up, and for the first time that night, I saw Daniel look at her, not with affection, not with warmth, but with a cold, sharp glare. What exactly are you implying, Rachel? He asked, his voice low and dangerous. She blinked, pretending to be confused. "Oh, nothing. I just think it's sad that trust can be so fragile. That people can be manipulated into thinking their partner is unfaithful when maybe they were never truly loved to begin with." Her eyes flicked to me, then back to Daniel. And that was it. That was the spark. Daniel slammed his fork down, the metal clattering against the plate. His jaw was tight, his fists clenched. "Enough," he snapped. "Do you think I don't see what you've been doing? Do you think I don't know the lies you've been spreading?" The room froze. My breath caught in my throat. Lies? My ears rang. Rachel's face faltered for the first time. She tried to laugh it off, brushing her hair back. "Daniel, I was only trying to protect her. She deserved to know the truth about you." "The truth?" Daniel's voice rose, breaking with anger. "The truth is, you've been poisoning her mind from the start. You've been feeding her stories, making her doubt me, tearing apart my marriage, our marriage, just so you could slide into the space between us." The words slammed into me like a tidal wave. My chest heaved as I stared at him, then at her. My mouth went dry. Was it true? Had she done all of this on purpose? Rachel's mask slipped even further. Her lips curled, her voice losing the sweet tone she always used. "You weren't good enough for her, Daniel. You worked too much, you barely noticed her. She cried on my shoulder for months. And I realized, why should she settle for a man who doesn't deserve her? Why shouldn't she be with someone who would truly value her?" The table gasped. His mother dropped her spoon, her eyes wide with fury. But my mind was spinning, because in that moment, I realized something even darker. She wasn't talking about Daniel valuing me. She was talking about herself. She wanted me. Or maybe she just wanted to destroy what we had so she could feel powerful. Daniel pushed back his chair, standing tall, his face red with rage. "You wanted to ruin us, Rachel. And you almost did. You filled her head with so many lies that she couldn't see me anymore. You turned my wife against me." My throat closed. Tears burned in my eyes. I had doubted him. I had believed her more than I believed the man I promised my life to. Rachel's voice grew sharp, bitter. "Don't blame me for your weak marriage. If she had truly trusted you, nothing I said would have mattered." Silence fell. Heavy. Suffocating. Everyone's eyes turned to me. My heart raced, pounding so hard it hurt. And for the first time, I truly saw Rachel, not as my friend, not as the woman who comforted me when I cried, but as the snake she had always been. My hands shook as I gripped the table, trying to breathe. The truth had exploded, right there, at that dinner table. And I had to decide, would I keep letting her poison my life, or would I finally take back the power she had stolen from me? That night was only the beginning of the storm. Because after Rachel's lies came crashing down, I made a choice that changed everything, for me, for Daniel, and for her. The silence after Rachel's words was unbearable. Everyone stared at me, waiting to see if I would crumble or stand. My chest rose and fell, my hands trembling, but inside, something shifted. For the first time in months, I wasn't drowning in doubt. I wasn't choking on her poison. I saw her for what she was, selfish, manipulative, desperate for control. I wiped my tears, slowly lifting my chin. "You ruined my marriage," I said softly, my voice shaking but clear. "But not because Daniel failed me. You did it because I let you. I let you crawl into my head and twist my heart. And that ends tonight." Rachel's smile faltered. She wasn't used to me talking back. She wasn't used to me seeing through her mask. Daniel stepped forward, his voice breaking with anger and pain. "I begged you to trust me," he said, his eyes locked on mine. "And instead, you trusted her. Do you know how much that destroyed me?" Tears spilled down my cheeks, but I didn't look away. "I know," I whispered. "And I'll spend the rest of my life proving I still believe in us, if you'll let me." Rachel scoffed, her voice rising, frantic now. "Don't fall for this. She's weak, Daniel. She doesn't deserve you. I've been here for you. I've listened, I've cared, I—" "Stop," Daniel cut her off, his tone sharp as a blade. "You don't care about anyone but yourself. You used her pain to feed your ego. You wanted to tear us apart just so you could feel powerful. But you've failed, Rachel. You've failed." Her face twisted, her mask finally gone. She looked around the table, but no one defended her. Daniel's mother shook her head in disgust. His father wouldn't even look at her. And me? I felt something I hadn't in months, strength. Real strength. I stood, my voice steady this time. "Rachel, you're not welcome in my life anymore. Not in my home, not in my marriage, not in my heart. You will never get another chance to whisper in my ear. You are done." Her eyes widened. She tried to laugh, to brush it off. But the room stayed cold, silent, united against her. For once, she wasn't the one in control. She grabbed her purse, muttering under her breath, and stormed out. The sound of the door slamming echoed through the house like thunder. When she was gone, I finally turned to Daniel. The distance between us felt heavy, but for the first time, there was also a path forward. I reached for his hand. He hesitated, just for a moment, then took it. His grip was firm, trembling with emotion. In that moment, I knew this wasn't the end. It was the beginning of healing, the start of reclaiming everything Rachel had tried to destroy. But I also knew one thing for certain: she wasn't gone for good. And if she tried to come back, she would face a side of me she had never seen before. I wish I could say that night at the dinner table was the end of Rachel. That after her lies were exposed, she disappeared quietly and let us rebuild. But people like Rachel don't just walk away. They can't stand to lose. And I should have known she wouldn't go without one last fight. It happened about 2 weeks later. Daniel and I were slowly finding our rhythm again. It wasn't easy, every conversation was heavy, every touch carried the weight of betrayal and doubt. But we were trying. We went on walks, cooked dinner together, sat in silence just to be near one another. For the first time in months, I felt like maybe we still had a chance. Then Rachel showed up at my door. I'll never forget the look in her eyes. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't pretending anymore. Her face was twisted with anger, her voice dripping with venom. "You think you've won?" she hissed. "You think Daniel will ever forgive you? He'll leave you again. And when he does, I'll be waiting." I stood in the doorway, my heart pounding, but I didn't flinch. "No, Rachel," I said firmly. "You won't be waiting. Because this is the last time you will ever stand here. The last time you'll ever have power over me." She sneered, stepping closer. "You're pathetic. Weak. If it weren't for me, you'd still be blind. You'd still believe in that fantasy marriage. You should thank me for showing you the truth." But here's the thing, she hadn't shown me the truth. She had twisted it. She had broken me down just to feel strong. And I wasn't going to let her win. I pulled out my phone and hit record. Say it again, Rachel, I said calmly. Tell me how you lied. Tell me how you wanted to destroy my marriage. Her eyes widened, her confidence slipping. You wouldn't. But I already had enough. Enough to show Daniel. Enough to show her mask cracking wide open. For the first time, she looked small, powerless, caught in her own web. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I just looked her in the eye and said, "We're done here. If you ever come near me or my husband again, I'll make sure everyone sees who you really are. Now leave." Her face burned red. She muttered curses under her breath and stormed away, her footsteps echoing down the street. And just like that, she was gone. That night, I played the recording for Daniel. His eyes softened as he listened, and when it ended, he pulled me into his arms. For the first time in so long, I felt safe. I felt like us. Rachel's lies had destroyed my marriage. But the truth healed it. And in the end, she didn't just lose control of me. She lost everything. If there's one thing I learned, it's this: never let someone else's poison decide the worth of the people you love. Trust is fragile, yes, but love, real love, can rise again, even from the ashes. And if you've ever been betrayed, remember this: revenge isn't always about hurting them back. Sometimes, the greatest revenge is rebuilding your life stronger than they ever imagined. Thank you for listening to my story. If it touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because there are so many more stories to tell.